with max effort training was technique is always first, right?
Of
So
course. Yeah.
if you're doing them like Ryan, then obviously it's not going to work. But if you with max effort training was technique is always first, right?
You heard that? Hey, we're live.
We are.
Sweet. So no Maddie right now. We're still waiting for him.
Yeah, guys. Sorry,
here we go live.
He's got the link. Maybe hopefully he will come on at some point. But until he does, we're on with you guys, whoever's in there. So feel free to ask us whatever you want. And
Arm Wrestling Motivation Limited. We got Sniff Joey from Albanian Kosovo. What's up, man?
He said he's coming live as soon as he snaps the beat. Did you see any of that? That somebody exposed who Sap the Bee is?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. I try to stay away from all the troll stuff because it just it gets under my skin. Easily irritated by that shit. But yeah, we hopefully Matt joins us at some point. I'm also be checking the Instagram. I'll let you know if he messages me anything, but he's got the link, and obviously different time zones. Maybe something got confused there. I try to be clear about that, but it's hard to be clear through messaging. But we're just talking about training because obviously Todd was just here.
Yeah.
And
Nathan Jones, what's up?
It says thanks for the event the past weekend, guys. No, that's exactly what we were just talking about. It was absolutely awesome, totally epic. Obviously, people have seen the match between Pork Chop and who's there? Just jumped in. What's up, Pork Chop?
Oh,
between Pork Chop and Brian and Toddzilla, and it was a killer match. It was a lot of fun. It was huge energy, huge excitement. We've also got the 4-man no elimination tournament coming out tomorrow. And that was a lot of fun too. Really good way to
was a big surprise, that match or that tournament.
Sorry?
That was a big surprise for me. Like I don't want to spoil it for the guys who haven't seen it, but the guy who won, in my eyes, was a huge underdog.
Yeah, I mean, he's got anyway, yeah. It was awesome, and it was nice. I had an idea that hopefully they were even, but it was awesome that it came out as even as it did.
Yep.
And it was a wicked little tournament first, which is a cool thing, and we'll probably start talking about that at some point. But what we were talking about before was training because of Toddzilla, because Todd was here and it was crazy. And yes, the matches were awesome, but the seminar itself was also really awesome, and definitely got a lot of good information there. We'll be releasing snippets of it. But for right now, it's just like onto the fucking paper and trying to figure out how to implement some of this shit into the training and where it fits in. One of the things that Brandon Allen talked about that I think is so true is you're going to train different when you've been pulling for a year versus 5 years versus 10 years versus whatever. And that's part of what I liked about obviously Westside is that it's always changing and everything. And you always get to kind of adapt and auto-regulate what it is you're doing. But I think that's part of where it's at now is, at least for me, is like you were just saying before, it's kind of tiring being so beat up from practice all the time. That maybe we can practice a little differently in order to put a little bit different effort in the gym. Yeah,
I think now is a time where to put more emphasis into getting stronger in the gym versus just practicing technique over and over again at practice, and also using that as a max effort day where you're getting destroyed and essentially ruining the next week's training, right? It's not like you ever get to the point where you can kill yourself in practice and then recover completely for a good week of training before doing that again.
Yeah, and the point of kill yourself is being ripped open and being in really bad positions. And this is one of the things. This is one of the things that I was talking to Sean about, who's the owner of Fortis, who's the huge reason that we were able to obviously put on that whole seminar, and big shout out to Fortis. And one of the main points he was making about max effort training is form and technique. and how it's about form and technique first. Like if that's breaking down, then you're not practicing the right thing. So it's not gonna give you the right force adaptation that you want.
Right. Which is what you're doing in arm wrestling, right? When you get ripped open, that's your technique failing.
Exactly.
Right.
So when you're back to what you were saying before, when you're going too hard in practice, that's you pulling in bad form, getting ripped open, and practicing bad technique, and that's why you feel so sore from it. So maybe there's a way to, and it's not that kind of practicing is valuable, like practicing ready goes and actually going full tilt has its merit, and you should do it. And maybe blocks is the right way to do it, like at the same time that I wrote out exactly how to do like what I want to do for max effort training and where I would put it in the week and work it into the pulling and everything. I also did, okay, what if I want to pull twice a week? Because Todd also said, like, when he's getting ready for a tournament, he's going to pull multiple times a week and be more like ready for the goes and stuff. So it's all about what's the goal, what's the purpose, right? Which is like the first thing that we ever said back in the day. Should we get to the chats quick?
Sure. We got Mr. Top Troll King in the house. What's up, Steve? Spencer Doucette. Hello, my friend. Bobby Ray Paris. Is Matt Mass coming on the show? Yes, we're just waiting for him.
Supposed to be, still haven't seen anything on Instagram either, but until he does, we're here. If you guys want to ask us any questions, whatever, we're just talking about training and stuff, talking about the Toddzilla event because it was crazy.
Go watch that match if you haven't already. It's already at over 40,000 views. That's sick. It was pretty fucking awesome getting to see that in person.
Yeah.
And call the match.
Yeah.
And you were reffing it.
Reffing was pretty epic too.
Yeah.
Happy with how we did on all that. I think
the reffing was great.
Held up to the pressure and everything. So
we don't see any posts on Facebook about your reffing being blasted all over the forums.
So I'll take it. But and the only thing was that the elbow foul was the only real like call, which was totally a perfect call. Like it was the only. Other than that, I thought the starts were pretty good.
Yeah, I mean there was one of the rounds. I think it was the last round with Pork Chop. His Todd's elbow was off the pad right before go.
I think you can hear Lewis saying that. And I didn't catch it. Like I was too caught up into what was going on here, but I'm pretty sure you can hear Lewis saying it. Somebody's saying it. I think it's him anyway.
Probably. Anyway, it's right on the pad as soon as the go happens, and then it didn't play and didn't have any effect. So
no, totally, yeah. But thank you, Pork Chop. Pork Chop said roughing was great. So
recently taking part in any competition?
Yeah, we have 2 weeks now, right? Is it or no, next weekend? So less than 2 weeks. We're 10 days out today. Actually, I should know exactly how many days out here. 10 days out, I'll be pulling Ian Carnegie on right arm, and you'll be pulling Evan Keller on right arm
as well.
And I'm feeling good. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I felt decent at practice on Saturday for a little bit, but I didn't go too hard. I wanted to give myself more rest leading into this match because I've just been feeling beat up with the new job. So I'll feel a whole lot better in 10 days for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I'm right there too, right at the end of sort of crossing over that peak. So on the weekend, same thing. I pulled Todd once hard, and I pulled Devin once hard, and I really didn't go like hard to the side with either of them. Devin a little bit. I was just trying to see if there was anything with his thumb, but he's just a fucking
beast.
Steel right now. It's how strong he's feeling. And Todd, I just wanted to see how my King's move felt against him.
I think it did good.
Todd, so he said he couldn't drag it out, and it definitely stopped. But he definitely had to take my pronation away to pull through it, which is awesome. And the way he took my pronation away was really interesting, and I'm definitely going to work on that with like Paul. You'd probably be really good at it. Mike will be good at it. The way that he did it. So Miguel too probably would be really good at it because he's got the elbow to do it the way that Todd did it. But he just like instead of like trying to turn me down, he just pushed it like
more like he was going 45 degrees forward, like
forward,
this,
exactly.
trying to cut you off.
Yeah.
Take your pronation that way. It was interesting. And I'm surprised that he was able to do that with his short lever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, it was because he just got it, like he got his hand positioned where it was up, like my thumb was up here on his hand so he could reach, and then pushed that way with it, So so yeah, and then he was just telling me after he was about how I could avoid that, like how I could maneuver around that. So if you guys can start to do that to me, then I can start to learn that distance and protect levels. The spot a little bit more, right? So exactly, levels. And yeah, it was awesome getting to pull with him and getting to learn a little bit more about how he does everything. And there's so many different ways to get strong, for sure. But he's definitely got some serious things figured out,
Yeah.
And I mean, it's also just he's following Westside, and we understand a lot of that training methodology as well. So it's just about how he's figured out how to apply it. I like his thing where he says, he says things he knows, says things he thinks, and says things he's heard. He tries to be clear about that. I think that's important. So
I mean, it seems simple on the surface, right? He knows how to arm wrestle, check, and then he knows how to get strong, and he keeps getting stronger, and he's using arm wrestling specific movements. So it just translates well. If he's focused on progression and he's getting stronger in the specific lanes that he needs to be stronger, there's no, it makes sense that he's ridiculously strong in those lanes. Like he simply trains those lanes and gets stupid strong in them, and takes care of all his connective tissue with.
Oh, here's Matt. Matt has joined the waiting room. I will let Matt on now.
Amazing.
Awesome. Pork Chop said his ability to drag is insane.
Yeah.
Which is I think it's his ability to drag through his elbow. Like the way that he can pull down and like lat drag down through his elbow that way, so that
this like the down twist.
It's attacking.
So it's so elbow.
The bicep. Exactly. Like it's connecting his lat. He's definitely connecting his lat, but he's not like doing it through his hand, just pulling straight back, doing it down through his elbow at some point. Oh, there he is.
What's up, Matty?
Just tilted the phone to the side if you can, Matt.
Did it work?
Yeah, exactly. You just
am I fucking sideways?
Yeah, you're sideways. I can hear you though.
Sideways if you can.
Alrighty.
There you go. Perfect. What's
Sorry,
up, man?
I just woke up.
Yeah.
No worries.
It's happening now.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for joining us.
Dog's drinking water in the background. You hear her slurping?
No, not you can't. I'm sure it'll come through though.
Oh, she's thirsty. She's thirsty.
Thanks for coming on, Matt.
Yeah, thanks.
We were just talking about Toddzilla and his insane strength. Did you happen to check out his match with Pork Chop and Brian DeSormo?
I didn't actually. The parts I had seen were a little choppy or whatever that people had downloaded.
Oh, you saw the live stream? Yeah. There's a quality version up there too now, but
yeah.
Well, he pretty much walked through them for the most part. 6-0. Had a little trouble with Brian at the end trying to top roll him, but I think it was just giving him too much rope. But yeah, it was a clean sweep, and Todd looked insanely strong.
Stoddzilla, right?
Yeah,
Stoddzilla.
So. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for joining us. Are you you're in your training gym there? Are you having practice later or?
No, not tonight. No, I'm gonna drive down to Lethbridge and train with those guys tomorrow night. So we had one here last night. Yeah, we had one here last night, or Monday we had one.
So you hurt your fingers during your match with Tim Breslin? Is that all healed now?
Yeah, tendon or whatever the fuck it was along the bottom of my baby knuckle. It's feeling better now. Like I got full mobility of it and everything else. It's like certain things that I do, I can still feel it a little bit, but like I think it'll be more than 100% by the time.
Yeah, you still have
I just didn't want to risk it, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah,
it's almost a month now, right?
Rick's a big boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean you've got a big boy Prudnik and Morozov to deal with as well.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, and I was thinking, well, I can do Rick or I can do them. I can do them both. But if I tweak myself a little too much during Rick, then I lose out on everything.
Yeah.
And my tickets to Turkey were already bought, and they're a lot more expensive than the gas I haven't invested yet into going to Toronto. So
yeah, sure, totally.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. Yeah. So it's Morzov left hand, right?
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. How's your left feeling?
I don't know. Ask Morrisov on the 22nd.
All right, sweet.
It's like this, right?
Yeah.
Just ride the waves. I'm hoping there's a big tide coming in right when I go to pull fucking Morrisov.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you always doing like pumpkin training for your right, or you're always training your left simultaneously?
I always train my left a little bit just to give my right a break.
Yeah.
But it's 90, like I concentrate majority on my right.
Yeah.
The left, you know what, if I show up and I win a little bit of lunch money, I'm fucking happy, right? But my right is more, it just feels better, right? It feels like I got more finesse, more control. My left, I usually have to have a prep talk with it before I get up to the stage. I'm going to need you today, buddy, right? You know, like when the referee says go, we need to go this way. Okay, you got that? Go, you know, like so.
That's hilarious. We got a super chat in there from Silky Wilkie, $20 US. Thanks, Silky. He's asking. He's just saying cheers to the Monkey Men. So and hi to Matt.
Thanks for the chat. Thanks for the super chat, man. That's awesome.
What's going on there, Silky Wilkie?
And then Bobby.
You know this guy?
Some reason I picture him having a real big dick.
I think that's what he's trying to get us to think. Yeah.
That it's soft.
Yeah. Just always faucet. Bobby Ray Paris says good idea on resting up for the big match. Totally agree. The Prudnik match is Prudnik's he's so versatile too. So, you know, like I mean, I assume your plan is pretty much always the more or less the same, or do you try to like really adjust the way you're going to do what you want to do against your opponent? Like I know guys who kind of have what seem like one move. Usually there's a lot of little adjustments they make based on who they're pulling, you know? So like Dustin, for example, Houghton, you're going to go down to Lethbridge tomorrow. And obviously you're probably pulling with a few of those guys. So Dustin,
I was there last week pulling with those guys too. So.
Yeah. So Dustin was pulled with us for a couple of years while he was in Toronto. And that was one thing. I mean, the way he hit, the way he pulled was very much the same, but he would really make a lot of little adjustments depending on who he was pulling. So do you feel that that's sort of how you approach it, or you just
I usually try to get to my position or my move. Like at the end of it, if I'm successful, I'm sitting right in this position.
Yeah.
And how I get there, it's usually different angles. Usually start with, you know, my hand higher, my hand lower, depending on my opponent and how I feel and direction that he's going to be going. But usually I always try to get to where I like to feel my hot spot is, right? In the past, last couple matches, I've tried to dissect it prior to going into it. And, you know, I'm going to set up in this position. I'm going to go that way. And I think it's held me back. I think it's kind of screwed me a bit, because then when all of a sudden I go to alter or I change it up into the position where I usually start, I end up getting a lot better, right? So I think this time I'm gonna go on. I'm just gonna do my thing, and then from there I'll feel it out and adjust where I need to, right? So
right. Is that something that happened with Tim Bresnan? Because I noticed.
Yeah, it happened with Tim. It's happened with Jerry in the past. It's, you know, not saying that, you know, it would have gone fucking 100%. I think that it probably would have, but it was just trying something I thought was going to work, right? Like with Tim, I had a vision, just because Tim sets up, he does that lat drag, kind of sits down into his ass. I was thinking I'd start with my elbow right down underneath the inside left of the pad, top left corner. So when they start, drive my elbow up this way, just to get his wrist to do this, right?
Yeah.
But starting so much underneath him, you're allowing Tim to be on top of you. And Tim's, this pressure is insane. So him already on top of you, trying to rotate out from there.
Yeah.
I think it kind of cock blocked me. Match number 4, I set up, I started just kind of driving straight back into the little fingers. And I was in a way better position, a lot more controlling over those last couple matches. So I think that, just, trial and error, right? It's been a while, COVID, everything else, since the guys actually been getting going again, right? So Tim was warm up. Rick was supposed to be the feeler, and then East versus West was supposed to be when I start taking off, right? So now Tim was the warm up and the feeler, and
well, at least you left that match knowing that you can beat him. Like
I feel I could,
yeah, for sure. Like, you're definitely in there, and there's a lot of stuff that comes in, with the reffing and stuff, which is not necessarily the reffing, like the ref's faults, but just the way the rules are called and how strict that was. That not that we don't necessarily have anything against it. It might not be the most exciting thing to watch for super matches and stuff, and maybe we can talk about that a little bit if you want to, but yeah, obviously that played into it a little bit. Some of the before the match even starts, it's over. So, but yeah, what I don't know. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I don't know. I didn't see them. Not many people there were able to see them. So
it's not even whether or not it's not even whether or not.
I honestly don't think that either of the men standing up there calling the match would have deliberately tried to fuck me in any way. Whether it was a micro foul driving up, maybe it looked like the tip of my elbow came off and say the back of my tricep was still on a little bit, or however it went. But there's a few things that could have caused it. The pads were really, really hard. If you don't believe me, ask my little knuckle. So it's
all pads are like that, right? On purpose.
Totally. It's not even the rep, like the calls, whether or not they were fouls. It's how strict that type of
exactly
is supposed to be, which is more the argument is like, do you think that that's a good way to push the sport forward for professional arm wrestling? Like if it's about you guys being able to make money and actually like make careers of this, people have to want to watch it. And when they're called like that, it makes it really unappealing to watch. I don't know how it is.
I agree for sure. Like obviously, I believe the league that actually took arm wrestling to the next level, because I believe it's on a next level now compared to where it was 10 years ago, was WAL. And it was because WL was a lot more entertaining. People wanted to tune in because you'd actually see matches finished. There was pins. Maybe there was discrepancies on some of the elbows or whatever, but you got to see matches and it was entertaining as fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
PAL, I get with their aspect that, if you want to be like UFL, like NFL or NHL or anything like that, there needs to be a strict set of ground rules. But I do believe that there should be some adjustments made to the equipment to compensate for such a strict set of rules. Like Tim, when he pulls, he sits back into it. As he's sitting back, his hand is raising up, depending on the style you are. Unless you're really sucking in, chances are there's going to be a little bit of a bobble, especially with such a stiff pad. I think that PAL, just to make it more entertaining in general, I believe that if they were to have softer pads like the combat arm sport table pads that they used to use in WL, where there is that little bit of a cushion, it would eliminate the look of where it's not really an elbow foul, but it looked like micro foul because the tables are so hard. I think you would eliminate 90% of those, right? And if there is a micro foul, then it's definitely a foul because you've not only lifted up that half an inch of padding, but above that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that, and that's part of it is like
and it would be a lot better on my knuckles when we slip out and I decide to fist fuck the table.
Exactly.
Fist fuck the table. That's great.
You're always going to do that. You can't change your style.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no control over it. I always say every time I'm not doing this again, and then every time I walk away from the table with my hand fucking sore, right? Every time.
Yeah. X Monster says anyone who agree with micro fouls obviously are always making bad decisions in life. So I think that pretty much sums up the conversation.
So all Europeans.
Yeah, it's I think that's one of the biggest things that I feel about the sport, and is just that if you want it to appeal, or if you want people to make money from it, like i.e. the athletes, and you want them to be able to make careers out of it, then it's got to appeal to a lot more people than just arm wrestlers. And it's not going to do that when a match doesn't even start and somebody loses and you have to explain to everybody what the fuck just happened, because they don't, like, everybody understands the arm wrestling match starts and somebody gets pinned. Everybody can understand that. But when it's like we're both like this and then that, and somebody you foul out and nobody knows what the fuck's going on, that becomes really annoying to watch. So
like, I get it for the athlete part, it's professionally ran, the matches are going to be 100% fair, but in order, I believe, for the arm wrestling, our sport, to hit that next level, it also needs to be entertaining to sell.
That's exactly it. There can be two styles. There can be the athlete, like the Olympic, the really official style, and then there's the professional, we're trying to make money and make an entertaining style. There doesn't have to be one ring to rule them all, so
no, there needs to be a happy medium, right? Like, I think East versus West is doing great. I thought WL was awesome just because it leaned more towards the entertainment aspect of it. It got a lot more people out there watching it. Arm Wars was another one that had phenomenal fucking rules that was not just for the arm wrestler, but more for the spectator as well.
Exactly,
and I believe that's where it needs to be, because like the PAL, the WF rules, they've been around for 60 fucking years. And how has the sport gone? Like, the sport has always kind of been, there was a little bump in the 80s with fucking Over the Top, and then it was like this. And we've just slowly been riding waves. It wasn't until right around fucking when WL came in entertainment, it really started to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of those professional leagues, WAF, PAL, all them, they kind of got a little bit of a boost because of the entertainment aspect that WL brought into the sport, right? Yep. And I believe that if they don't come up with some adjustments on the equipment or the table, them WAF, PAL kind of sports are going to start to do this again. And it's the WLs, everything else that's going to take it to the next level. Nobody's even going to be looking at it because it's not entertaining.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. They're not going to buy those pay-per-views.
So they can lead the way, or they can sit back and watch new leagues that they're going to call not real arm wrestling, take the sport to a whole different fucking level.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Just hit up the chats for a second. Somebody's asking what we thought about the Corey versus Krasmir match. Did you watch that? Corey West and Krasmir?
I watched bits and pieces of that one as well. I got such a busy life.
Yeah.
But
you saw
Corey looked like a fucking beast.
Yeah. I think it was all three rounds were basically the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the way Hutchins had handled him,
it looked like
he slowed the match down. I thought Krause was going to do something similar, but it almost looks like Corey has actually leveled up since he pulled Toddzilla.
Yeah.
So
I think so. He might have fixed whatever hole it was that Todd found, and
there could be a very good possibility.
Yeah, because he looked like a grizzly bear just pawing down a coyote. It was just like just whack.
Yeah.
Well, that dude's like over 400 pounds or something like that, right?
Yeah, he lost weight and he's like 400 pounds. It's ridiculous.
Quick super 400.
Quick super chat from Silky Wilkie again. Thanks again, man. $10.
Thank you.
Micro fouls can sometimes be a disadvantage for that puller who fouled. Why should they get called a loss if they sometimes have just gained a disadvantage?
So he's saying that sometimes you can foul and get called for a foul, but your foul put you at a disadvantage. Even it wasn't even you did it trying to get it.
Which is what happened in your match against Tim, Matt. In the first round when you lost on an elbow foul, you went into your losing position, and it was a micro elbow foul, and you got called for a loss. You might have lost anyway from that position.
But you're getting to see it.
Match got called anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
You got a little choppy there, but
Me?
Yeah.
I think.
Oh shit.
But for the most part,
just me.
For the most part, I think we got it. Was just basically that. Yeah, like even though you might have lost that match anyway, you don't get to see it end.
Yeah.
It ends on a foul. It's just less exciting to watch. Somebody's talking about Khaled.
What did Devin do against Toddzilla?
Yeah, I don't know.
Can't say.
Yeah, we had to sign NWAs. Let's just say from what we felt of Devin that day, he's feeling on a totally another level now. It's just
ridiculous.
It's getting ridiculous. He used to like he'd get a little bit out there and then start to lean back and stuff, and now just trying to move him off center is
his sticky spots getting tighter and tighter
and tighter. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive, and the weights that he's talking about moving on a daily basis for sets of 50 are just starting to get ridiculous.
Yeah, and he says he's feeling amazing, zero pain.
Yeah,
like everything's going well. Yeah,
everything's going really well. So and I think his game plan's working as far as trying to get Levon angry. So everybody's saying, "Oh, that's a bad idea." It's like, no, that Devin wants Levon to come at him, and he knows either he's going to break or Levon's going to exhaust himself trying to break him.
Yeah,
that's what Devin wants. It's like 110% what he wants. The only thing that probably would make him happier than winning would be actually getting his arm ripped off. But yeah, no, he's feeling ridiculous. Somebody talking about Dennis.
Yeah, apparently Dennis is in favor of the auto strap rule. I saw that somewhere.
Well, I saw, in a strap and in a hook. I mean, but either way,
that's a little.
What do you think about the auto strap, Matt? You think?
I think it's fine. I think 90% of those professional matches are usually going there anyways, right? So, yeah. But I think it is. I think it is nice having that option of slipping out. You know what I mean? So, because sometimes matches do end up very different out of the straps as opposed to in the straps. Yeah. But if your opponent can't slip out, then it's over. It doesn't matter if he's going to be able to do it out of the strap or in the strap, right?
I think that's kind of the point. Yeah, if you can't slip, you might not be in that match.
So then, what do you think of the WL rule where it's just 30 seconds to strap? Like if you don't, you can just walk around, get chalk, and not even try to grip up, and you can get the strap. Do you disagree with that rule?
I don't think that it's the best. I think that it's more definitely for an entertainment aspect of it, just because it is definitely going to make for a lot quicker matches, right? You're not going to have 3 minutes of them setting up a slip and then go to the strap eventually anyways. It's definitely going to speed up the process of the matches for entertainment aspects of it. Yeah. But I don't know. It's, to me, I really couldn't care less on the rules. I'd just either way, whatever I'm going to do. Yeah. Like obviously rules where it's an automatic strap, it's going to change the way you're training leading up to a match. Yeah. Right. Like you're not going to train 90% of your training out of the straps. If he just has to piss around for 30 seconds, he's going to go there. Yeah. You're going to train for your 3 to 5, 6 months, whatever it is, your prep time that you have leading up to that match. Every single match you train is going to be in the straps. Yeah. Right. So it all depends on, like I prefer, obviously you have to get into the straps in order to be able to get there. But, if a promoter said, no, we're automatically going there, I wouldn't be like, well, I don't want to fucking pull like that. I'm not pulling, so.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I think for entertainment purposes, it makes sense kind of going right to it, or at the very least, all slips going to straps. Unless it's a pin, obviously, or a giant elbow foul. But the main reason, just again, because it just becomes so confusing to watch when it's like, no, you balled your hand up a little bit, and anything that's subjective reffing wise.
Yeah, I think any slip, period.
Yeah.
Regardless if you're losing position, if it was an intentional slip, whatever, I think it should go right to the straps. Obviously, if the elbow comes up first and then there's a slip, well, then you just get motherfucker fouls, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
And
if he's able to keep his elbow on the pad and initiate that slip and get it successfully, no matter if he's this far or this far from the pin line, I think they should be going the straps.
Agree. Yeah. So yeah, that definitely all agree on that.
Yeah. So Matt, we like to talk about training a lot on these talks. So can you maybe give us a little rundown of your philosophy on arm wrestling training, and then we can go into more specifics after that?
I just try to, like, for building up for a match, it's honestly, it just depends on how I feel. Like, if I'm getting really good practices with a bunch of guys, obviously lifting heavy isn't going to be much of an option. So I'll lift lighter in between and do more reps just to make myself feel better. Yeah. But if I'm not getting a bunch of heavy training on the table, then I'll hit my weights a lot harder, right?
Okay. So you're always just adapting to how you feel.
Yeah, exactly. Like, sometimes I'll go into my gym. I usually, every day I don't train on the table, I'm hitting my weights as well. Even the days that I am training, I'm still hitting weights sometimes in the morning. But it all depends on how I feel. I'll usually walk in and I'll start off with a 30-pound dumbbell. And if it feels like nothing, I move up to 50s and 60s and 70s. If I pick up a 30-pound, you get them little aches and them tweaks or whatever, then I'll put them down. I'll fucking reach over and grab up to 15 with 20-pound dumbbells, right? Yeah. So...
And when you said doing your weights, is it mainly like arm wrestling movements, like rolling and rising and all that stuff? Or are you doing more like conventional movements like curls and pressing and pulling?
I'll usually finish, like, after my workout routine, I'll finish with arm wrestling specific exercises. But I'm just trying to build mass as well. And nobody wants to look like a tit when they go to the beach and take their shirt off, right? So I'll do full range, some motions, but at the end of every workout I got like 3, 4, 5, 6 exercises that I finish
that are more just like arm wrestling specific, specific stuff. That's cool. Another Silky Wookie with another super chat. What's he saying?
Well, generous. He's saying, is there actually an argument for 2 straps to be applied, for symmetry and whatnot?
I don't know about 2 straps.
So the buckles on both sides.
Maybe, I think they did try that at one point, right? Back, like, where they had a strap that had like 2 buckles on it or something like that.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it just makes it a lot more difficult. That hurts the entertainment aspect of it, just because it takes a lot longer to set it up to make sure it's perfectly even. Oh, his buckle's higher than my buckle, and
it gives you more stuff to argue about.
His buckle, or
Yeah.
I think as far as the strap goes, as long as you're going through the strap in between the arm here, if you add the twist that Devin talks about, I feel like does make it feel even a little bit tighter. And then if you apply it the way Bill does, where you actually put the strap down the back of each person's hand before you tighten the buckle again, it's just fit. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel any difference really.
It's hard to notice the difference.
Feels right.
Yeah, exactly. As long as it's tight on your hand and on your wrist, it feels good.
So Matt, how many times a week are you practicing, like, table time?
Table time, I'm trying to do about 3 days a week right now.
Okay, so pretty frequent.
Yeah, 3 days a week.
Is that normal, or is that just because you're leading up to a match?
I think it's going to try to be my norm for the year and going forward, obviously depending on work and everything else. But I'm just, I'm trying to jump in with both feet and just keep it going, right? So I do believe table time is key over everything else. So, and then just kind of build everything around your table time, right?
Right. So just because we had our Toddzilla seminar just recently, he has a completely different philosophy on training. I'd love to hear what you think about him. So, like, he practices maybe 6 times a year right now, and just focuses on getting stronger in the gym once he's got a plan figured out for his target opponent.
And that's what he basically said was, those are like, depending on super matches or tournaments. If he's got a tournament coming up, he'll do more table time because he wants more ready-go practice. But if he's doing super matches, he knows what he's going to pull. He'll try to get 1 practice in with somebody who's similar to that person, or somebody who can give him something similar to that person, so that he can get a game plan together. And then he basically strengthens that game plan in the gym and then hits the table again, I guess, on the competition day.
Yeah.
It's just such an interesting how it's complete, so polar opposite of how so many other guys train, but he's still so successful. Before we answer that, do you want to hit the super chat, Matt?
Sure. Matt took my limits Laird. Obviously, that's one of your super fans. Sent us $9.99. Thank you so much. Matt frickin' Mask, my guy. Can't wait to see you face Prudnik. You're the man.
Yeah, everybody's excited for that match.
And then Soki Wookie, another $5 super chat. In the strap, do you try to create an air pocket between palms, or do you want your hand to be as flat as possible?
Well, that's
myself. I like palm contact. I don't really care much about the pocket or anything else. I personally like just palm to palm, and I literally just crack that fucking wrist. Like, there's no finger climbing or trying to get up higher advantage. I literally just want to take your wrist from here and move it into this position, right?
Yeah.
So and I feel I'm able to do that better with a tight palm to palm, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You want that more control, like, so you can feel their hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would say you're trying to turn the person's wrist over from their palm, as opposed to trying to get into their fingers and peel them through their fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think and to answer his question, it would also it does kind of depend on how you want to pull. Some guys that do want to stay away from and get deep into people's fingers might want to create that space so they can move around in the strap. So that's usually why you see two people messing around so much as the strap is putting on.
Somebody that has a real sticky spot, like a Devin, a Michael Todd, even a Tim Bresnan. Because Tim, same thing, he's really sticky as he gets close to that pad, right?
Yeah.
I believe that a looser strap is, with that pocket, is what you need to be more successful with them, right?
So you can climb and gain better hand position.
And then you can get up on top of it. So if you do go to roll into the press, they're not going to be able to suck you back in, right?
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. But anyway, back to the Todd thing. Have you when you say lifting heavier, depending on how you're pulling, like how hard are your pulling sessions, considering your level compared to the people that you pull with?
It's not bad. Like, obviously, usually when I first get up to the table, it's pretty dominant, but I don't, when I arm wrestle with anybody in practice, I don't go for any position advantage in any way whatsoever.
Right.
I always usually arm wrestle. I'll let them climb over my knuckle. I'll let them start in a bit more. And it makes it harder to obviously compete or to pull somebody over when they're starting in their power, right?
Yeah.
So it is a lot harder that way. So
yeah.
And then I just let them get what they need. Then I'll slowly take it back, go over to a fighting position, hold for a little bit. When it feels like they're about to tucker out, I'll let them get a little bit more again, let them take me back to the other side of the table, then I fight for it back, right?
Right.
So
that makes sense.
Is that something that you taper off as you get closer to match and you try to be more dominant in practice so you're not getting opened up as much? Or is that
usually I'll keep it more to this side of the table as it gets closer to.
Yeah.
But it's still just at the beginning of practice, it's more just about getting myself kind of beat down to a level where some of the guys that that I'm able to easily convincingly beat at the beginning of the practice, towards the end of the practice, they're putting my arms down, right?
Yeah.
I usually try to go to failure. Right?
Yeah. Okay. That's similar to how Todd mentioned that John tries to practice, which I think is also similar to how I think Devin practiced for a long time too, is just giving up stuff in practice and absorbing the energy, and then trying to like you said, continue to beat yourself down and work from less dominant positions to build up that strength,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You need to get that super chat there.
Yeah, super chat from Brian's exposed cable. I'm not sure what that's referencing. Is that Ryan Espy? sorry about the Tim match. How did you stop yourself from going full Super Saiyan and destroying Earth after those horrific elbow fouls? Spirit bomb.
It is what it is, man. So
I think
yeah. I was ready to go toe to toe with somebody right after it was over, but it's, you don't want to beat anybody up or be that guy, because then chances are the next time something comes up, you're probably one of the last people they're going to be calling, right? So
a level of professionalism is needed. Same time.
Yeah, that's the difference between a professional and an amateur, right?
Exactly. Very much so.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to think about how that's similar, how so many people pull that way. It's one of the main things, like with like what Todd trains is West Side, and one of the reasons that's so interesting to us and why we had the seminar, the gym that we both go to or went to for a long time, is specializes in West Side tactics. And one of the things that West Side tries to combine is the idea of that there's only really three ways to get strong. It's either repetitive effort, maximum effort, or dynamic effort. And there's so many arm wrestlers that seem to dominate with that repetitive effort. Just seems to be like definitely one of the most important ways to get strong in this sport. And even Todd talks about how in the beginning it was like, for what did he say, Alex, for about 10 years that he pulled like multiple times a week and did it more like the repetitive effort style before he was really like pushing forward with the maximum effort. So everything comes in stages, and that's one of the things Brandon Allen says, who's training a lot of guys now too, about how you're going to train a lot differently when you've been pulling for 2 years versus 20 years. So like when you first started out, did you basically train the same way? Like what kind of sports did you do before? You're obviously a taller, skinnier person, similar build to Devin, but what other were you like? Was it basketball? What other sports?
No, they always tried to get me to play basketball, but when I was a kid, I had too much fun hooting with the Owls at night and not flying with the Eagles during the day, right? So they didn't let me on the basketball team. But I played a little bit of football my last year of high school, moved so I could be in a more kind of hands-on, aggressive kind of sport. Full contact is what I enjoyed, right? They didn't have much when I was growing up. So, and arm wrestling was kind of like full contact without having to limp off the stage after, or, black eyes or broken necks or anything like that, right? So
it's that combat sort of aspect of it that you enjoy more so than the strength necessarily. Obviously, strength being a huge factor, but it's that fight part that you really enjoy.
Yeah, that's what does it for me. Taking a little piece of somebody's soul and putting it in your pocket, right?
So is Todd Zilla's training method at all appealing to you? I know Devin said that he couldn't commit to that because he loves arm wrestling so much. Why did he want to give up practicing?
I think being more longevity in the sport, I think it probably would be better, because arm wrestling in general takes such a fucking toll on the body. Just if you do, you always end up pulling sometimes in a bad angle, a tweak or something occurs, right? So I think maybe a bit more longevity, but also enjoy the camaraderie of it, getting together, shooting the shit with everybody while you're practicing, right? The feel of different hands. Like it's always, the more you're traveling around, the more you're training with different people. It's almost like it's a different workout every time you step up to the table with somebody else. Going to the gym, doing the same fucking exercises over and over and over and blah, blah, fucking blah, right? Like it's boring, right? It's not as entertaining, I find, for myself. So like I do it because I feel I have to do it to hit that next level. I don't think I'm able to get to that next level without weight training in there involved. I don't think I can do it just on arm wrestling solely alone.
Right.
So I do it, but I don't enjoy it, right? Arm wrestling, actually feeling a different hand and feeling the different angles and positions that person's trying to pull in. For me, that's entertaining. As fucked as it is, I find it entertaining for myself, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's that fight aspect, the sparring aspect. It's the same reason like people are obsessed with going to jiu-jitsu class and going with each other. It's because you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about the other person and everything when you get to fight for shit on the table, fight for what it is.
Yeah, and it's always more fun to compete in a sport than it is to do something on your own.
Yeah,
like when you go to the gym with somebody else, it's more fun than doing it on your own. It's the same like when you're doing arm wrestling training.
and
Way more fun to do it like with another person.
And the people that obsess over gym lifts and stuff are usually they're just competing with themselves. Like it's always coming down to how you find that, where you find that competitive angle. So
yeah,
there's obviously
and that's something I never keep track of what I lift. Anytime I ever go and I work out, I don't ever keep track of what I'm lifting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
but I bet you remember exactly how somebody
practice the day before is going to be probably the most discouraging fucking workout you ever do in your fucking life, right?
Yeah.
So,
but I bet you remember exactly how like somebody you pulled 3 months ago felt compared to how they feel.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's to you that like, and that's what I think is so interesting about working out and training and everything is that it really does. There's no perfect way to do it. There's no like, here's the formula, everybody can follow this and it's going to work. You've got to find out what works for you the best. And it's everybody's going to have those differences. So a lot of people that, that enjoy the fight aspect and the training aspect of it usually don't love tracking their numbers in the gym or worrying about how much weight's on the bar. They're more worried about how that guy felt, a week ago versus today.
Yeah. And something Devin said is that, all training methods typically work, right? If you're consistent and you show up every day, you're most likely going to get stronger. So you have to find something you enjoy.
Yeah, as long as you can prevent yourself from getting injured, you're going to progress. Even if you're only doing it for 5 minutes a fucking day, eventually it's going to start getting easier and easier and easier and easier, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, 100%.
Oh, totally.
Somebody mentioning sushi in there, which makes me think about the crazy sushi that we ate in Devin's diet and stuff. What do you do for diet mainly, Matt? Do you just try to eat whatever you can as you got matches coming up because you tend to be so lean, or do you watch what you eat? Do you care about processed food or clean food, any of that?
I'm on a seafood diet.
Yep.
So I see food and I fucking eat it.
Yeah.
Like it
still can't gain weight.
It's just a matter of finding enough time in a day to prep my meals or sit down by myself and actually eat my meal. That's the bigger struggle, but it's just, I just eat until it hurts. And then I'll whine and complain that my belly's sore for about 20 minutes. And then an hour later, I'll start eating again. Right.
Yeah.
So,
nice. So what's the weight at right now?
I'm still slowly coming up. This morning I was about 249 when I first woke up in the morning. So
that's good.
It's slowly coming up. Like when I weighed in for Tim, I was 245 fully clothed. So.
And you're 249 in the morning, no clothes?
Yeah, 248, 249 in the morning now. Not clothes.
That's a big increase.
Yeah. I've been eating a lot. Like, like a couple times I thought I fucking wrecked something, right? Like it was like, it ain't good, checking to see if there was blood or anything in my stools because my stomach maybe ripped or something, right? So, but yeah.
Is the match with Prudnik and Morzov set at a set weight, or is it just?
No, I believe it's just open. Come in at whatever you can come in at. So.
All right, sweet.
Yeah. You've never pulled Prudnik before, right? Like,
I've never pulled either of them too.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Morzov I figured, but Prudnik I just went like never at an after pull or anything at an event or anything.
No, I've never even met the man actually. Never been to an event that he was actually at himself, right? So just seen him on streams or YouTube and stuff, right? So
well, I feel like he's probably going to try to hook you. I don't think he wants to fight with you up top.
I would think that's where he's going to try to go. So I would assume that's where he's going to try to go. Like I have a feeling he's going to try to bail the first round. He's probably going to try to get into the strap. I think he can get more connective tissue. And if I do take his hand, he can still kind of hang on to it a little better, I believe. He doesn't have to use as much energy to hang on to me. Yeah. So I think he's he's going to try to go that aspect of it, but you know, it won't know until it actually happens, right? So
yeah.
What's your
But that's
favorite?
how, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Alex.
I was gonna say that's similar how his match with Kirigali Ungarbayev went. He started trying to top roll with Kirigali, got beat 2 times, then committed to the strap and going inside and just relying on connective tissue, and that's how he pulled off the win 3-2. So he is super versatile, and he will experiment and try new things and adjust.
I believe he's pound for pound in my eyes, he's probably one of the best, most versatile arm wrestlers that there is out there, right?
Yeah.
So he's banged with some of the best top rows in the world. He banged with some of the best hookers in the world. Like he's showing time and time again that he can pull anywhere on the table, right? So
yeah, no, I'm excited to see that match for sure. I think again, like game plan wise, like you said, just want to go in and do your thing. So if he comes into hook, I don't know. Hopefully, I think you got it with the lever and everything, but it's going to be interesting to see how much he can hang on with his elbow.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get me into a hook, right? Many have tried and more have failed, right? So
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's anyway, should be interesting for sure.
You think you're more susceptible to presses versus hooks, Matt?
I believe so. Yeah. There's a small percentage of people out there that can actually still pull with their hand being gone, just as good as they can with their hand there. So yeah, and a lot of guys that are full-fledged hookers, once they lose their hand, everything else usually just follows, right?
Right.
It's their cupping power that's so strong. You got the odd anomalies like Hutchins, Todd, like Jerry Caderet, where if they lose their hand, they just don't give a fuck, right?
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, those are rare breeds for sure.
Yeah, and Jerry's angle being that pressing angle being so harsh, right? So
yeah.
Marcus Thompson, 50 euros, I think. Tiny, towards the next event, upgrade the dial-up internet. Only joking. Seemed to be a great event. What was your thoughts on Todd arm wrestling knowledge transfer? Matt, we need a big win on your next match. So
I keep saying that. I keep fucking saying that. Eventually, it's gonna come through, right?
It has to.
Silky Wilkie just with another $10 and saying thanks for the advice, and he's peacing out. So thank you, Silky, for all super chats. We appreciate it. But now to get back to Marcus Thompson, yeah, unfortunately, we do apologize for the Wi-Fi connection on the live stream, but hopefully you did see the quality version that we edited, and Beat Strong Arm Wrestling put out a really good version too. So there's quality versions out there, but the event was awesome. And yeah, the transfer of knowledge from Todd was pretty wicked. As I was saying earlier before Matt got on with us, I've just been had my face in the pad trying to figure out all the different ways that I could start to apply some of the max effort and speed training that he does, and how he does it. So it was a lot of fun. Thank you for the super chat, Marcus.
Yeah,
always super generous.
We have Roger Canningham in the chat. Awesome arm wrestler. He says, "What if Prudnick sings opera and abandons traditional style arm wrestling and just King's move against you, Matt?"
I don't think he'd dip that low. There's only a few men that'll dip that low and do the dirty, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't think Prudnick's one of them. So
true. Do you see a King's move in your future?
What's that?
You see a King's move in your future?
In my future? Fuck no. Are you kidding me? See how silly that looks? Ask Jason how that worked out with him in his left arm match against Devin.
Yeah. Yeah.
He fucking broke you. They had to tie you back together, man.
Yeah. We did. It's still coming back, but it'll be back better than before. But no, it's a dangerous move, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Different end of the frame to put on the line.
Matt, I want to ask you. So your training is pretty kind of like up and down depending on how you feel. How does that affect your mental state going into match, like not knowing exactly if you can lift this weight am I really stronger? Am I really ready for this match? Like without an actual program to go off of.
See, for me, it doesn't really affect me too much just because like practice, I have it already implanted and embedded in my brain that it's practice. It means nothing, right? If I'm losing and I'm getting my butt kicked at the arm wrestling table at practice, I'm putting in some major fucking work, right? So, because it's not happening very often, right? Depending on how sore I am, will be how long I do my taper down leading up to my match. Like if I'm just feeling strong, I'm feeling good at practice, but I've been working hard, then I'll train right up until about a week before I step up to the table. If I'm really tweaky, where every time I get to the table, I got a lot more little feels like pins and needles in my arms, then I'll hit more massages and I'll do like a 3-week taper down, right? So usually I try to keep myself at about 70%. Sometimes I'll dip below that 50% mark. Sometimes it's up to that 80%, but I try to maintain at 70% all the time. So when I actually do heal, I get a massive spike in strength, right?
Yeah.
So,
and then
like it doesn't matter how good I feel my last practice before the match, it's how I feel the day of the match, right?
Yeah, and then I think you rely so much on the intensity and the fight aspect of it that as long as you feel fresh and feel ready, you're confident you're strong enough for whoever the fuck is on the other side of the table.
Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of it is mental, right? Like a lot of it just getting yourself into that spot. Like you don't have to be the strongest. Any one of these fucking guys, if we were to go to the gym, I bet you 99% of them would outlift the hell out of me. Even guys 3-4 weight classes below me would probably outlift me, right? But it's where I put myself mentally when I walk up to that table that allows me to do some of the things I'm able to do, right?
Right. Exactly. Is that something you've always had, or did you have to kind of nurture that spirit inside of you?
No, it for some reason it always kind of came naturally to me, right? So I just over the last, I would say 7-8 years, I've just kind of let it go more. I usually try to be a little more reserved about it in the past, just because like try to hold it in a bit more. Yeah. But lately I just fucking let it go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it obviously wants out, let it the fuck out, right?
Yeah.
I was going to ask, seeing as you're so interested or attracted to arm wrestling for the fight aspect of it, do you like other fight sports? Like, were you into boxing, or do you like UFC? Like, do you have any other like kind of guys that inspire you as far as the way that they fight or approach taking a little piece of their opponent's soul?
No, I never really did get into like karate or kickboxing or anything like that. I always wanted to, but my parents had different ideas on what I'd do with it if I was to be trained in that aspect. So, and they were probably smarter. Like they were definitely smarter than me, and they're probably right. You know what I mean? What I would have done with it at that age. Yeah. So it was more just personal feats with buddies or whatever, go to do some things and I lift up this rock and I'm going to lift up the bigger fucking rock. You know what I mean? Just shit like that. Right?
Yeah.
So
cool.
Matt, after Prudnik and Morozov, I know you don't want to think too much about the future, but do you have any matches planned after that?
Yeah, I'm going to be pulling Lars in Toronto.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Totally. I'll be in your hometown.
Yeah, that's
we'll hang out.
Rick is pulling Alex, right? September 4th or something like that.
September 3rd, I think it is.
Yeah. So yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dangerous match for you. Another flop presser.
Yeah, and
he's tall. Yeah.
It's a very.
You guys have pulled before, right?
Stylistically match.
Yeah.
The way that I arm wrestle.
You guys pulled an Arm Wars.
Arm Wars before, right? You guys pulled an Arm
Wars.
Wars.
That was actually my first super match I had ever had.
Oh, really?
Lars at Arm Wars, right?
Nice.
Wow. Yeah. And did that match end 3-3 or 4-2 or something? It was close.
Yeah, he beat me. At the end of the day, he ended up beating me, right? So,
yeah.
So
Have you guys pulled again since, or that's the only time you've ever pulled?
what's that?
Was that the only time you guys have ever pulled, or have you pulled again since?
No, that was the only time we
Nice.
had ever actually really gripped up. I had met him a couple years after that when Richard Lupke's went to pull him.
Okay.
I stood in Richard Lupke's corner at the time, and I just shared some of the knowledge that what I had felt pulling him the first time and where I should have gone, transferred it over to Richard, and Richard executed it perfectly. First match, not so much, but second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, he just went right through him. So
Nice.
Awesome.
So,
It's the same day Rick Heidebrick and Kardetcha.
Yeah. Kardetcha gonna pull.
Yeah.
But the training part of it,
What's
That's
that?
supposed to be a super match.
the super match, what do I think about it?
No. We were saying you're pulling Lars on the same day as Alex and
Yeah,
Rick.
you mentioned, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. What were you gonna say something else?
I was saying, in my eyes, that's a mismatch. I think
it's a little bit of a lot.
Kardetcha's on another level now. I feel like that match was made before we realized how good Alex was, and now he's a little too far ahead, in my opinion. Rick.
Yeah, you could be. I personally think that Rick has the tools to cause really anybody in the fucking world issues.
Yeah.
Like he's such a big fucking man, right? Like Rick is like, what is he, 6'7", 6'8", something like that.
Yeah.
So and like a fucking catcher's mitt, like, and he's been pulling for 15, 20 years. He has all them connective tissues and everything else. I think if he was to dedicate himself hard, which I think he actually might be doing now, I believe that Rick definitely has the potential to hit that top tier fucking level, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And Rick's never really, besides arm wrestling with Devin now and then, he's never really challenged himself outside of Eastern fucking Canada, right?
Yep.
So
that's true. I mean, I really hope he gets inspired and motivated from getting the match to.
Yeah, like I honestly think that if he went south a little more and started chasing some big names, I think he'd be fairly fucking successful at it, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that as far as potential goes, 100%. That's right.
Cool.
Yeah. Anything else? What are some of the chat saying here? Maddie, a full.
Oh, White Wolf super chat, $5. Matt Yoda Man, you going to tone down the crazy wild horse table slapping after your recent injury, or just smash the table with your lefty?
You know, I thought about that, but it's like the stranger with my left arm.
Yeah.
And I got a match that day with my left arm too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I got to come up with like a table shake, or maybe I'll pick up the elbow pad and fucking bite it or something, right? Like, I don't fucking know. I got to do something. But I really got to stop fist fucking the table though. So, or open palm it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I got to do something, right?
Yeah. Nothing compares that to that though. Like it's always going to be a downgrade.
So.
Yeah. There's something about that intensity, but it's it's the pads, like we said earlier. It's those PAL pads. That's where all the dilemma is. That's where all the issues are. What else we got going on? 8:45. You got any other training questions, Alex, that you were thinking of?
Not really. I mean, Matt, what do you do for like rehab training? I mean, you say you do like you tone down the load and up the reps for your traditional arm wrestling exercises. Are you doing anything specific to aid in recovery, rehab?
Yeah, just lightweight, lots and lots of reps.
So but with your standard like rise cup, roll cup.
Yeah, all my standard usual arm wrestling exercises, my pronations, my back pressures, my cup and everything, but just a lot more reps with very, very, very lightweight, right? Like I'll do it sometimes where I only have like 2 or 3 fucking pounds on the thing, right? But I'll sit there for 40, 45 fucking minutes doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's something Devin was saying too.
Yeah, just going those super long reps. There's something again about that repetitive effort, just that builds up that connective tissue, you know, and that's why for so long, guys that did, you know, jobs that where they do something like that all the time. I know you work on the oil rigs and stuff, and I remember you saying now you do, like, you don't really have to work with your hands maybe as much as you did, but when you were coming up, it was a lot of like hard working with your hands and stuff. Do you think there was some carryover there?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%, without a doubt.
And was that like you're predominantly right-handed? Was all that work predominantly like right-handed as well? Like, is that, you think, also why maybe your left hand is such a party arm or lags behind?
No, it's just more finesse, I believe, is what it is with my right.
It's just actually being right-handed. You're just more.
Yeah, it's just, it listens better. It moves better. It just, all in all, just feels better, right? So.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's interesting. There's like everybody, people that don't do that kind of work, or we're always trying to figure out if there's a way you can train that in, you know, like, but there's almost nothing that that can replace just having to be at work all day using your hands, you know, like, doesn't matter what kind of exercises you try to come up with. It's pretty hard to replicate that amount of repetitive effort, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's why they have that thing that they call the old man strength, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
How old are you now?
I ain't never met a roofer that's been roofing for 20 plus fucking years. It doesn't have a grip and a half on them, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
That's true.
Their backs and knees are usually fucked. They look weird as hell walking across the room, but their hands are always strong as hell, right?
How long into arm wrestling was it before you started to get to like that sort of elite level of strength where you really knew that you had like you know, being on that Arm Wars your first super match, like that kind of level?
I was always actually right out of the gate. I was always really good. Was like within a couple of years, I had the finesse and everything was really there. Like I wasn't really getting touched too much in Alberta, but it was more when I started to travel into the States. Just said I want to take this to a different level. I want to see how I can do about all these guys, because you had Arm TV or whatever at the time, and everybody in the States just seems so much better and so much stronger than all us Canadians, right? Because you see them all the time. So I started going south across the border every time there was a big tournament or anything like that going on where I knew there was going to be big names, and I just chased them. The first couple of times I wasn't very successful, but every time you go and you pull something, you feel something a little different, you learn a little something. And then all of a sudden it's just started turning, right? I was able to bang with these guys and I'm beating these guys, and now we're right there, right? So
yeah. What was the first win that like you feel like put you into that elite level?
I would have said Chris Chandler at the time.
Right.
Chris Chandler was one of the top guys at the time, I believe, in North America. That's where I put myself mentally, where I felt that, okay, I actually can bang with these guys.
Yeah.
The one I believe that the match or whatever, not the win, but the match that I had with John Brzezinski, I believe, was the one that put me more on that world stage with a lot of other people. Yep. Like where everybody recognized me a lot more, because at the time there was only 10 people on the fucking planet that had ever gotten a pin on John Brzezinski, never mind an actual win during a surf match or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
So I believe that was where everybody else had kind of been like, oh, wait a second, this dude's right fucking there, right? Yeah. So yeah, and it wasn't long after that when I switched over from UAL over to WAL, and it just kind of started unfolding from there, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, and then the Wild Horse. Oh no, then the Wild Horse was born in WAL, right? It was your Halloween mask before.
Yeah, Neil Pickup, fucking guy. He's come up with some good ones, but he's fucking butchered it on a few of them.
Nobody's perfect, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess anything else? Maybe what would you say is your favorite exercise for pronation? Let's finish on something like that. Is it just strap over the thumb and
I like a towel actually. I use a towel. I got a 1.5 2 inch pipe taped on the inside of the handle that I hold on to, and it's just that's
so you have a pipe in your hand and then the towel goes over this way and then you just roll the pipe.
Yeah, that's my favorite exercise. Probably the exercise I've been doing the longest, for probably like that repetitive over and over and over. And I believe that is how my pronation has gotten as strong as it is because just been doing it for 20 some fucking years, right?
And that holding a pipe is tying it into your fingers. I know you said one of the times you dislocated your finger was from like pronating like this, right?
Yeah, it's keeping my hand into a little bit more of an open position. I try not to clamp too much. Yeah. But it's more, it's allowing where you're gripping, kind of hanging on with the center of your hand more, right?
Yeah.
So
cool. Fair enough. And what kind of, I know you don't track your weights too much, but what kind of weight do you do for pronation?
Depends how I feel. Sometimes there's 5 pounds on that thing. Sometimes there's 60, 70 pounds on it, right? So, yeah.
Okay, cool. And guys, any more questions before we go? I think we'll wrap it up in a second. See if anybody has, if you guys have another minute or two to ask a few more questions. Okay, what about rising then? So pronation, what's your favorite thing for rising?
I got my strap on my cable machine. I just wrap it around my hand a couple times over the knuckle, and it's just or laying in bed before I go to close my eyes. I have one of my bands is strapped around the leg or the foot of the head, and I'll just sit there and crank on it, right? So
not what I thought you were gonna say, but that's great.
This is PG channel. Eh?
My bad.
Yeah, sure. I think that's about it then. Yeah, no other serious questions in there. Right? Am I missing that?
Favorite? Somebody asked, "What's your favorite band, Matt?"
I think they mean like actual rubber band, which is going to depend again on what you're doing. But do you actually mean like rock and roll? Yeah, with favorite music, sure.
I don't really have a favorite band.
No.
So, yeah. My green band is the one I use the most.
You train with no music, so you can just get in your head and zone out.
Yeah, do you use music to get pumped up, or you?
A little bit. It depends. There's certain songs that do. I personally enjoy the motivational speeches and shit like that. I find that gets the hair on the back of my neck standing up, right?
Yeah.
So
that speech, Rocky. It's not about how hard you hit; it's about how hard you can get hit. That's how winning's done. That one always.
Yeah. There's that one. There's a bunch of them, right?
Super fired up. He was talking about musical bands, so that was the answer there. I guess is nobody in particular. All right, cool. Well, Matt, thank you so much for joining us, and really appreciate it. Hopefully we will see you in September in Toronto, and best of luck with Prudnick and Morozov. Definitely.
I'm going to have to come check out your restaurant, Jason.
Yeah, next time you're in Toronto, you can come. Definitely.
Yeah, I didn't realize you're actually a really renowned chef. I thought you just enjoyed cooking.
Oh yeah,
and eating, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
obviously eating, and I've been cooking for a long time, and right before I got into arm wrestling, I was pretty much burnt out and done with cooking. But recently, I did get a really good job at a really good place, and just happened to work out with perfect timing that when Devin was coming, I could hook him up with some pretty ridiculous food. So, but
awesome.
Whenever you're in Toronto, let me know, and you'll get the same treatment, no problem.
I'll be there September 3rd.
Yeah, no worries.
Awesome.
Well. All right, Matt. Thanks so much.
All righty, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, man. Have a good night.
All right.
You want to stay on for a second, Alex?
Yep. Sure.
All righty, guys. Well, I'm going to head. I need to go eat something.
Yeah. Going to be 2:50 by the morning.
Yeah. 250, slowly going up. Okay? I'll be 270 by Toronto. So
Nice.